The Resident Evil PlayStation 4 Limited Edition controller will feature heavily in this retro game hunt down in Leicester at Super Game Shack. Now you might think that I've completed many a tour here before, but one of the good things about this particular shop is they turn over their stock very quickly, and they do change the design and layout of the shelves, the lighting and the window display. So for those of you that have never seen Super Game Shack before, I suggest you get comfortable because this is one of two of my favourite stores in the entire United Kingdom. Now I just need a very quick apology in here as my phone actually broke as I was recording this, and unfortunately I've lost some footage of the Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn stuff and some of the expensive PlayStation 2 games. But I can assure you, if you follow Super Game Shack on their social medias, you'll bound to see much more stock than what my iPhone allowed, so I do apologise. So I'm going to be showing pickups as well. Spoiler alert, I did pick this up, and I'm going to be doing a brand new and unique video on this controller by itself, because believe it or not, the PlayStation 2 variant, which is this, is incredibly different to the GameCube Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller. And that is all I'm going to say. I don't want to spoil too much for that upcoming episode this week. So just off to the left of the store, we continue with some unboxed stuff. There's a bargain corner here, including the Mystery Geek bags. And again, like I said, just random little bargains of Vita, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1. And then obviously your Japanese candy, of which there were 3 different colours, and I would assume 3 different flavours of these awesome eccentric looking Super Mario, I don't know, lollipops or something to that effect. Pretty cool. And if candy isn't your thing, then you can try some Japanese drinks as well. Now we got plenty of nice consoles for display and for purchase, some of which are displayed in these gorgeous cabinets. We've got a really nice unyellowed Sega Dreamcast there, Xbox and Wii U, Silver Slims, you name it. Again, every time I go in here, everything always seems to be different, and I think that that is one of the key indicators to a very good retro game store. Something that gives you a different experience every single time you go in, so you can never ever get bored. And speaking of never ever getting bored, if pin badges are your thing, and I know a lot of my viewers do love a good pin badge, rest assured there's thousands to choose from in here. One thing that is lacking in Super Game Shack are the game guides, but I think that's actually not necessarily a bad thing, because sometimes I found shops can be over encumbered with them and it can be a little bit overwhelming. I do know that if you ask Rich if he's got anything else in stock, he's pretty good at checking things out for you. Now the decor in here is one of the things that really holds up the shop's character. You saw in that last shop some gremlins and a face hugger on top of a telephone box from Doctor Who. Pretty gnarly if I do say so myself. Sega Game Gear titles, plenty of really nice handheld stuff. We've got a Neo Geo Pocket there, PlayStation Portable. There was some lovely Vita stock, one of which was a modded console. Quite, common these days to mod a PSP or a Vita. And obviously people utilise that for emulation purposes, of which you guys seem to be talking a lot about in my comment section. I know a lot of people tend to downsize their video game collections for whatever reason and switch to emulation. I understand that it's very expensive, and obviously it's a massive space saver. For me personally, I love my video game collection and my video game console collection, and I won't be selling to downsize for emulation. It will continue to grow, but grow in terms of quality over quantity, of which the games you're seeing on your screens right now are definitely quality over quantity. Now here I am just taking a look at a gorgeous waterfall of plushies next to some, again, Japanese bits and bobs on the display stand to my left right there. And then I want to focus on this. This was a video game show, sorry. This was a show called Nightmare back in the very early 90s. It was very, very popular, and again, a very massive talking point for those of you like me that used to watch it. Hands up if you remember Nightmare, and would you like to see it make a comeback, or do you think it's one of those things that are perhaps best left alone? Now, if you've got the wall space, you might be intrigued in some posters, of which there's a gorgeous selection here. I don't have room, but I thought I'd show it because I haven't really concentrated on the posters when I've done my retro game hunts at Super Game Shack previously. For those of you that, again, are wanting to save on space, we've got plenty of unboxed video games, all conveniently labelled here for your daily consumption of video game buying. I didn't buy any unboxed games on this trip, and I didn't necessarily kind of glide through them as I didn't really want to get any unboxed games. Nice plethora of Sega Mega Drive titles, from your sport titles right up to your awesome titles like Sonic 3D, Shinobi, Tasmania, Toy Story. That's a very good game on the Sega Mega Drive. Clue, or Cluedo as it's known here in the United Kingdom, I had no idea this existed until I went down on this retro game hunt and Jess said that she'd play it with me. We used to have the board game of Cluedo, and my mum used to play it a lot back when she was in her 20s. Rest in peace, rest her soul. So I've kind of grown up on Cluedo. Remember watching her play with her friends, so I've got a bit of a soft spot for that game. Now, NES stuff. I have not seen many unboxed NES cartridges in video game stores, and then you come into the likes of Super Game Shack and wham bam, there's shelves upon shelves full. And there's, again, we're back at the waterfall of plushies here, a bit more of a close-up here. We've got some Spyro, there's loads of really cool stuff. Again, didn't pick any plushies up, but you can get a good vibe in this shot for how cool the decor really is. Now, this is one of the glass shelves that I had footage missing from, but again, make sure you check out the right hand side of the shop as you go through the door, because you will see all of the glass cabinets with the predominant stock levels for your cartridge based video game needs, both boxed and unboxed expensive titles. PlayStation 2. I'm not. Oh, there we go. Gemma, drop it. Well done. Round of applause in the comment sections. Thank you. How many of you drop video games when you're on these tours? What I was going to say is I'm not in the market for any of the lower end PlayStation 2 titles. I was more intrigued by the footage I lost with all the expensive PS2 titles in. I actually feel really bad, like I'm giving you a partial episode here. But nonetheless, I do think you'll still get some value from this. Sega Dreamcast, beautiful. Been streaming on the Sega Dreamcast this weekend, actually, as I'm recording this. So go and follow me on twitch.tv/thegebs24 if you'd like to see some additional retro game streams. And Master System. I took some pictures of these as it was very awkward to get the camera into film and get good shots, and I haven't really spent much time with the Master System stock, bit of a mouthful there, in Super Game Shack when I've been down before, so I thought I'll grab these snaps because this is adding something a little bit different. Nintendo 64. These were the glass cabinets on the right hand side that I was kind of saying. This is where your really nice stuff is. There's some unboxed modded Game Boys, Game Boy Colors, Game Boy Advance SPs, Game Boy Advance. Really, really nice stock, and for me this is definitely my favourite part of the shop. This is where I first go in, Super Game Shack. I immediately turn right every time after saying hello, and I dive over to here. Again, nice to see some different games. There seem to be more Nintendo 64 stock than last time. That could be me over analysing, but there definitely seems to be loads more. There was an entire glass cabinet devoted to Nintendo 64, and again it is lovely to see boxed and unboxed. In fact, I just saw a copy of Gex on the N64, which is a game that I should really pick up. I'd like it boxed though. What do you guys think would be a good price for Gex on the N64 boxed? Unboxed amiibos. There's just something about unboxed figures. These aren't amiibos, but there were loads of amiibos in that just look really, really cool. I'm one of those weirdos that keeps my amiibos and my figures boxed because it's about value, and you can still display them nicely in the box, as you can see here. You know, the boxes actually showcase the figures really well, but they look so nice out of the box as well. Now, if you're not down there for video games and you might just have a couple of quid in the back burner, check out these pin badges. Check out these pin badges. Feel free to pause it, have a look. But my favourite, of course, was definitely the Pikachu. Took a little snap of Pikachu because I just love him. We're just taking a little whip around the shop here as well, so you can get a bit more of a flavour for the space. And I did this walkthrough when there was barely anybody in, especially over this side as well. You got the candies on the right hand side, the amiibos, and you can play a couple of consoles that are hooked up as well. There were some consoles under there for sale. I mean, this store really has a whole heap of charm. And speaking of charm, we're going to head back to my gorgeous lady lounge now, and I'm going to show you guys what I picked up on this trip. This I actually got from CEX, but wanted to include it anyway. This had dropped in price at £12. You may have guessed it, but I picked up Clue, or rather Cluedo, box complete on the Sega Genesis for £30, and I'm doing a very special upcoming episode, as I've already said, on this. We're going to test it, we're going to dive into a bit of history on this thing, and that is awesome. Guys, make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video.